Costume designers are rarely recognized for their genius even though they really should be, and today's genius is Jaqueline Durran and her work on the movie Little Women. When it comes to period costuming, few names carry as much weight as Jaqueline Durran. Known for her iconic work on Anna Karenina and Atonement, it's no surprise that her work on this film is just as strong, even getting her an Academy nomination. This film is based off Louisa May Alcott's book with the same title, as it follows the four March sisters, Meg, Jo, Amy, and Beth. As they grow up in 1860s New England, each navigating personal dreams, challenges, and relationships, Jo, the independent, strong-willed sister, struggles between her literary ambitions and societal expectations, while others pursue love, family, and fulfillment in different ways. Through hardship, loss, and joy, the sisters learn about identity, sacrifice, and the enduring power of family. And to begin costuming all these dynamics in a period film, there is first a lot of research. Because as any great period costumer knows, one must first know the rules before breaking them. For Little Women, Durran looked at 1860s garments, fashion plates, and even paintings. I believe Windsor Homer was a very popular one for depicting rural life. It's such a large ensemble, it's important that each character is clearly defined. In the text by Alcott, the girls receive a book on Christmas morning, each with a different color. This detail inspired Durran as she created a color palette for each character, helping to identify each sister. Now, Jo receives a crimson book, which actually makes a lot of sense due to her fiery personality. But in order to represent her more defiant nature and to emphasize her energy and ambition, she wore corset-free clothes and practical wool skirts and cotton shirts that she could move freely in. Her tomboy image manifests in men's clothing and waistcoats, jackets, and even a bowler hat. Throughout the film, she would also swap clothes with Laurie. Durran said that it was her way of representing how close they were. And in the party scene, we even see that her dress is red. It's also unpretentious, and she actually burns it near a fire accidentally. And during the time of the 1860s, there are books that help women deal with scorched dresses, so how to remedy them or how to turn them and make the dress usable again. But my favorite piece of all for Jo was actually the green military style coat that she wears. And Durran said that she wanted it to look like she had almost raided her dad's closet and pulled it out and used it as her riding armor. In contrast, Amy is the most image conscious of the sisters. She has a whole deal with ladies refinement, and you can see it in her wardrobe. She wears corsets at a very young age, and she's also in blues and bold hues, and Durran said that she got inspiration from Impressionist paintings, which you can definitely see in her wardrobe. During her trip to Europe, she embraces the latest Parisian fashions, all thanks to her aunt's money. I think that these costumes in particular, when she goes to Paris, are some of the most beautiful and decorated and rich costumes that you could get from this period. Now, with the jump from Amy, the youngest sister, to Meg, the eldest, Meg's style sort of balances domestic realism with some romantic fantasy. Her wardrobe pulls aesthetics from Gothic Revival or pre-Raphaelite aesthetics. She's definitely one that wears more handmade lace and softer silhouettes, and in the Boston Ball, that's where you get a completely different version of her. At the Boston Ball, she wears a pink silk gown that transforms her into Daisy, a fantasy version of herself briefly trying on the life of wealth and status. But as she settles into domestic life, she adopts a simpler, more grounded style, still feminine and thoughtful though. Now, Beth is the soul of the household. Quiet, kind, and content, her wardrobe reflects this. She's dressed in soft, faded pinks and earth tones. She doesn't try to impress because she's at home, literally and spiritually. Sometimes she rewears Jo's clothes. After her death, Jo rewears Beth's jacket in grief and remembrance. Now for beloved Laurie, Durran looked at the British Teddy Boys and Tissot paintings for inspiration on his wardrobe, and encouraged Chalamet to wear the velvet suits and paisley vests and shortened jackets as he saw fit, which led to flyaway shirt tails and artfully disheveled neckties that gave him more of a bohemian flair. Again, he exchanges clothes with Jo, and in an early scene when Jo goes on a knee in mock proposal to Laurie, he's wearing a yellow paisley vest. Years later, though, when she turns down his proposal, she's the one wearing the same vest beneath her jacket. It is a subtle note saying that she cares a lot about their relationship, and even as she's walking away from him, she's keeping him close to her chest. Wow. Then there's Aunt March, the embodiment of old world wealth and order. Her costumes are sharply, accurately Victorian, with dark silks, lace, and valuable jewelry. She is visually everything the March sisters are not. She represents the world that they're trying to navigate and in many ways resist. There are time jumps in this movie, so it's important to mark the distinction between childhood and adulthood. Corsets and skirt lengths were used to emphasize the transition. In the Victorian era, children wore shorter hemlines, and in adulthood, those hemlines were lengthened and corsets were worn. The genius of Jaqueline Durran's costumes in Little Women lies in its character-first choices. Although the costumes aren't fully period accurate, they're deliberate and conscious. Now, this was only a very small analysis of the film. There's so much more that could be said, but I hope you liked it, and if you want to see a specific movie breakdown, leave it in the comments and I'll get to it.